The episode that you are about to watch has the potential to change your life forever. This is one of those. This is one of those ideas that really can make your life a mystical life, a life with a lot of meaning, a lot of profundity, a lot of deepness or depth, and with a lot of spirit. Now, this is not going to be one of those episodes that is very easy to understand. It will demand attention, it will demand introspection, concentration, thought, wisdom from your part. It will demand receptiveness, openness from your part. So if you're not willing to do that, if you just want to, have fun and see my face, this is not going to be effective for you. But, anyways, my friend, if you are ready to understand a truth or a potential truth that will make your life one that is kind of an epic drama, kind of a myth, kind of a wonderful story to tell to the multiverse, to live, to experience, well, open your heart because now we start with your mysterious events. And welcome to the most transformative podcast in the multiverse. This is the Mastermind Podcast Challenge Season 2 with your host, the Papacito of Puerto Rico, your favorite doctor of all time, Dr. Derek Israel, and this is the episode 576. And before we begin, let me tell you that if you want to work with me profoundly and very deeply in your spiritual concerns, you should be going to derekisrael.com to my new service called Spiritual Guru, because in that service, I will be changing your life in a spiritual way. So that is my most potent spiritual service so far. So check it out if you want to work with me individually. So before also we begin, let me tell you a little bit of a disclaimer. I don't have all the answers with this episode of today. Okay? This is one of those episodes that I decided to do it because if I never do it, I will never kind of understand what the hell is this about the events. Events is the subject of today. That is why it is called the enigmatic and real nature of events. And events or synchronicities is another way of referring to this phenomena, are a very complex thing. It's like trying to understand God. And hey, to understand God is a lifetime work, right? It's something that we will never be able to fully comprehend. It's beyond reason, it's beyond logic. And events is exactly like God. It's something that is very mysterious, very enigmatic, And I don't have all the answers, but I will try my best to communicate with the best of my ability what the hell is going on with this phenomena. Now, I'm pretty sure that in the future I will be doing more episodes, or maybe in other series I will be doing more content related to this phenomena, because I am sure that I will not be able today of fully grasp and transmit the deepness, the profundity of this idea. But I will do my best. Okay? Okie dokie? Okie dokie, baby. So, what is an event? What is an event? Well, an event is something that happened to you, whatever thing, right? It can be whatever thing. It's something that happens to you. It's a situation. It's a circumstance. But it is not only that. It's an event, it's a situation that really have a spiritual pattern behind the situation. It's like that situation that is happening to you, maybe you are becoming a father for the first time, that may be an event. Maybe that you receive an offer for a job, that may be an event. Can be whatever thing. It can be a big thing, it can be a small thing, it doesn't matter. But if it has a spiritual code inside it, that is an event. The real mysterious thing about this is that the same situation can happen for two people, the same situation, but for one can be an event, and for other person it cannot be, or it is not an event. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you are from the United States and you go to Puerto Rico, right? And and you are there and you ask, what is the native food of Puerto Rico? And someone tell you, okay, it's rice and beans with mofongo, right? Or something like that. That is a very common, typical food in Puerto Rico. So you say, okay, so you're with your best friend. So you are in a restaurant, the two of you, and you both, you know, ask for the same food. So the staff bring you the food and you both eat the food. For one of you, for your friend, maybe he eats the rice and beans with the mofongo and he's like, oh, it tastes pretty good. Oh my God, yeah, it's kind of, yeah, it's a very good food, right? But for you, it's like, oh, 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 wow, what the hell is this? Oh my gosh, this is this is this is the best food of my life. What is this? And then for you, that food, it changed you forever. That rice and beans of Puerto Rico, maybe it transformed how you perceive food for the rest of your life. It maybe those rice and beans transform the way that you cook in your cuisine for the rest of your life. And maybe you fell in love with Puerto Rico, and maybe you move from United States to Puerto Rico for the rest of your life because you want to eat that rice and beans for the rest of your life. And then maybe you get married with a Puerto Rican because you want someone with which you can eat that rice and beans forever with someone. So for your friend, it was just eating in a foreign country rice and beans. It was a situation for your friend, but for you, it was a life changer experience. That is an event. Just notice the difference. It's the same situation. You both ate the same thing in the same restaurant, in the same space and time, but for one of you, it was nothing. For the other, it was everything. That is the difference between an event and a situation. An event is something that changed your life, is something that has a spiritual code, is something that is mystical, that is enigmatic, that is God-like. It is something that it can be think as you can think as if it was meant to be. An event is something that is kind of your destiny. An event is like the most important page of your book, the most important scene of your movie. An event is when you are about to die and you are seeing your highlights of your life in your memory, and if you will not see all the highlights of your life. You will not see when you was taking a poop randomly in 8th grade in the bathroom of your school. You will see only the events of your life. You will see only those moments which represented a transformation in your life, a deep meaning in your life. That is an event. Do you get it? And hey, be patient with me. I will give you characteristics, definitive traits and characteristics about events, and I will give you some introspective questions that you will be able to ponder in order to uh, get a little bit more of understanding and wisdom about it. So stay patient. You will understand at the end of this podcast what I'm talking about. So another word for events is synchronicity. And I want you to add this word to your vocabulary because probably the next time that I will be attacking this subject, maybe in 1 year, maybe in 2 years, because I will have a better understanding, I will be doing the episode and it will be called synchronicity. It will not be called event. Okay. And why? Why I will change the name? Because synchronicity is more complex, right? Synchronicity is a term that comes from the Jungian psychology. And when Carl Jung used to refer to synchronicities, he talked about acausal situations or situations that doesn't have a cause to happen. Situations that are direct manifestations. So that is a more complex thing because whenever you experience a situation, you think in your mind that in order for that situation to happen, A, B, C, D, F, G, all the variables or the causes must have happened before in order for that situation to happen to you. You always think that situations are based on the past of the situation, are based on the causal chain of that situation. For example, if you buy a computer, that is a situation, you think that that computer first has to be made. Also, the technology has to be made, right? Also, the company that made the computer has to be made before you buy the computer, right? Also, you think that Amazon should ship the computer before you get it in the mail. You think that other situations happen before you get your computer. That is a causal change because you have causalities before you experience a situation. But when we are talking about synchronicities, we are not talking about causal situations. We are talking about a causal. That means it doesn't have causes behind. It's a direct thing. There is just the computer. That's it. Nothing behind. And you may say, what the hell is that? That is impossible. Yes, God is impossible as well. But that is the true nature of God. Because if you think about God as a causal thing, something that has a cause and is an effect, well, then there is no God. That God is not God. The God will be the one that caused the God. And then you will say, but who caused that first God? Well, we don't know. Well, other God caused that, other God caused that God. But then who caused that other God and that other God and that other God? And then you go into a philosophical problem that is called infinite regression, because you always will go back to another grounding element or another cause in order to explain the effect. So there's always one first effect that doesn't have any cause. That's God. God do not need any cause. Synchronicities are mystical events. They don't need any cause. Do you understand this? You can randomly receive a kiss from the man of your life randomly in a Walmart. He just kissed you, the most sexy man of all time, and that doesn't need any cause if it is a synchronicity. If it is a situation, the man just thought about it, or maybe he was, recording a TikTok and he said, I will kiss a random girl today. So he went walking to you and he kissed you. Well, that has a cause. But if it is a synchronicity, nothing happened. He just kissed you and that's it. Nothing happened. And yes, it sounds crazy, but hey, reality is so fucking crazy. Have you noticed? In the most mystical, elementary, fundamental aspects of reality, this doesn't make any sense howsoever. How can you explain that you are here? How can you explain that you are perceiving reality? How can you explain language? How can you explain imagination? How you can explain law of attraction? How can you explain love? How can you explain consciousness? We don't have explanations for this. And the population think, oh yeah, we have explanation. The brain explain everything. Dude, the brain explain nothing. I have been studying the brain for the last 10 years. Neuropsychologists, neurologists has been studying the brain for years, and they don't know nothing about the nature, the metaphysics, or even how the brain relates to the body. They don't know. They don't even know how the brain relates to the mind. They don't even know the nature of consciousness. They don't know. They don't know. You need to understand. We don't know what the fuck is reality. We don't know. We think we know, because if we know that we don't know, society will be a chaos. Do you understand this? What do you think is going to happen in a random Walmart if suddenly everyone knows that we don't know? Everyone will start screaming. Everyone will start running. Everyone will start stealing the chickens. Give me the chickens. Give me the toilet paper. We don't know what is reality. We don't know what is the brain. Oh my gosh. Give me the Chef Boyardee. Do you understand this? We need to fake know, because this is the order of society. We need to lie. Do you understand this? My friend, you're awakening right now. It's a hard truth. I have my existential crisis already when I have studied psychology in my doctoral program, and I understood that no one really know what the hell is this. By this I mean the mind, the psyche, reality, God, life, consciousness. I had already my existential crisis. Maybe now it's your turn to have your existential crisis. But another word for events is synchronicity. Okay? And add that word to your vocabulary. So let me give you some characteristics of events and how to recognize them and how to capitalize them in your life. This is the pragmatic element of this podcast. By the way, did you saw my ring? This ring is handmade by By the way, if you are only listening to the audio, you are missing this. My wife did it, and my daughter, she painted. It's a beautiful ring. They're my babies. Anyways, the first characteristic is events are mysterious because God is mysterious, right? Events, things that happen to you that will change your life that are not normal situations, we don't have explanations for them. That's why I said to you in the disclaimer, hey, I don't have all the answers. And maybe I will never have them, folks. Maybe. Yes, I am trying hard. And you kind of know. If you follow my content, you kind of know that I'm really trying to get to the most fundamental aspects of reality. I'm really trying. This is my life. But maybe I will never do it. And probably I will never do it. I'm okay. I'm okay with that because I understood that events are mysterious. And this is not a bug. This is not something that is a mistake of reality. This is a feature of reality. This is something that comes with reality. This is the nature of God. Every time that you look at God, you see a different thing, a different mask. Like, for example, if you see God one day, you may see a dog. And you say, Mommy, Mommy, look, I saw God. It's a dog. And when your mother looked, she said, I don't see any dog. And when you look again, it's a cat. And you said, what the hell? It was a dog. Hey, Dad, come. Now we see a dog as a God as a cat. Look, this cat. And your dad is like, what? I don't see any cat. And when you look again, the cat is an eagle. And every time that you look God, it's a different form. It's a different thing. It's a different morphology. It's a different substance because it's so mysterious that you will never be able to define what is God or what is an event or why the hell is this or why it happened. Do you understand this? Because every time that you think that you already understood the thing already changed. It's exactly as trying to reach the ending of the universe. How can you reach the ending or the final space in the universe if the universe is always expanding? And we know this physically. So if just imagine in this thought experiment that you are running, trying to catch the end of the universe, and you're running, but you only every time that you make 100 steps, the universe expand 1 million steps further. That is God. That is an event. You can never catch it. Just imagine a dog trying to bite his own tail. Just imagine a dog doing that. Have you seen that? I'm pretty sure that you have seen that. That is you looking for God, or that is you trying to look for the explanation of the events that will happen or has already happened in your life. You are trying to catch your own tail, but it's a never-ending cycle that you cannot do it. And some dogs, maybe they can do it. I don't know, but you understand, right? Maybe a dog is like, and he he bite his own ass very quickly. I don't know. Also, events are mystical in nature. That's why they are so mysterious. If you try to define events physically, materially, socially, historically, politically, hey, they may have some explanations behind them. But real events, they don't have explanations. They don't have explanations. Like, for example, one of the most important events that happened collectively was, the 11th of September. 2000, I think 2001, when the World Trade Center was, attacked by whatever. I don't know, right? Some people say it was by Osama bin Laden. Some people say it was by United States. I don't know. But what really happened there? What really happened there? You can try to explain that from a political perspective, right? Oh yes, it was Osama bin Laden because he had some trouble with United States. He thought that United States was invading his country. They were trying to implement the Western culture in the Muslim culture and blah 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 blah. You can try to explain that as oh, it was United States because they wanted to invade Afghanistan, Iraq, all of those countries because they wanted the oil or stuff like that. It was an economic. That is an economic explanation, and you can do it, or also you can just explain it as a mystical thing. It just happened. That's it. It just happened. In your consciousness, it's just happened. That's it. No more explanation. That is an event. It's a mystical thing. It doesn't need any more ground. It just happened. And your brain will say no, but that not you know that just do not happen. Like it needs to have something behind. That is your brain. That is your ego. That is your ego trying to decipher. I am not saying that that didn't happen for anything. I'm just trying to bring an example of how a thing can be mystic or it can be historical, political, economical. Some things in your life you can explain it. Some things just will be mystic. And when they are mystic, you cannot explain them. Have you ever encountered a situation in your life that you have no explanation howsoever? Maybe a person that helped you and he disappeared, or maybe you was in need of money and you encounter $1,000 randomly in a street, no one around, and you was like, what the hell? Well, that is kind of a mystical experience. It doesn't happen every day. It doesn't happen every day, but sometimes it can happen, and that is an event. Also, events represent a before and after in your life. This is one of absolute importance. Remember the rice and beans example? One of the friends, it was just another food. For the other, he married a Puerto Rican because he wants someone to share rice and beans for the rest of his life. Just that event of eating rice and beans and mofongo in Puerto Rico changed his life. It's a before and after. When you have an event in your life, you are not the same afterwards. If you are the same, it is not an event. For example, a movie. How many times have you watched a movie and it's just a movie? But how many times have you watched a movie and it's like you start a new life after that movie? Like for me, that is happening to me a lot ultimately because now I am embarking in this profound discovery of movies as the new church. And that is an episode that I have, is one of my most important episodes of this podcast. Listen to that episode. It is called Movies Are the New Church. And it's how you can use movies as psychotechnologies, technologies for your mind. So I'm doing that every week now. I'm watching one or two movies with the intention of changing my life forever. And this past weekend I saw one with my wife, and it is called 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's a classical movie. I have never watched it before, and this movie changed my life forever. That movie is an event for me. Because I will never perceive tools, technology, survival, and transcendence and our relationship with technology again the same after watching that movie. Watch it. Please first watch the podcast and then watch the movie, because the podcast will serve you as a foundation for every movie that you will watch for the rest of your life, to use movies as tools for growth. So yeah, that is a before and after for me. Also with music, this can happen. For me, the song, Somebody That I Used to Know, that movie, that song is not just a song for me. That song represented and before and after in my life. Why? Because it was the when I listened to that song for the first time, I thought that I was dead. I thought that I was dead because I could not believe the beauty with capital B of that song. And I understood beauty in a direct experience with that song. For me, it taught me a lot about life and beauty and art. It was not just a normal song. It was not like just hearing a Drake song or I don't know, a random Bad Bunny song, and I like Bad Bunny. For me, one of the songs of Bad Bunny, Estamos Bien, it is called Estamos Bien. Da, 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 da. That song is an event for me. And not only for me, that is an event for the whole Puerto Rico culture. Why? Because we were suffering a horrific hurricane. It is called the Hurricane Maria that broke Puerto Rico in half, and we were suffering. And he threw that song as a counter punch, right? As a reaction from the suffering of that natural disaster. And that for us was kind of an event. It was not just a song. So you can do this with art. Also, events change the direction of your myth and your destiny. Remember, you are living your own myth. I have a Spanish episode about that, and it is called ¿Cuál es tu mito? Búscalo en mi canal de YouTube o en Spotify. ¿Cuál es tu mito? So we are living a mythological life. You need to discover what is your myth. And also you need to discover what is your destiny, right? So when you experience an event, this changes the direction of your myth and your destiny forever. Forever. So, for example, I was reading a news yesterday about a guy that he bought Bitcoin very early, and he bought like 7,000 Bitcoins very early, very early. Now those Bitcoins are worth $500 million. Right now, the crypto market is down, but it doesn't matter because markets are like that. But the real value of those Bitcoins right now is $500 million, $500 million. The thing is that guy is still poor. And you may say, how the hell is he's poor? He threw away the hard drive in the trash that contains those Bitcoins by mistake. Yes, he threw it away in the trash. Now he's begging. He has been begging for the last 10 years to the city to let him make a hole in the, how do you call that? The landfill. The landfill is kind of the place in all the where all the garbage it is accumulated, right? In Spanish, it's like the vertedero, something like that. So he's begging the city to let him dig with NASA people, with NASA staff, with experts, that they kind of know where that hard drive may be, because it's not just a normal hard drive, it's a $500 million hard drive. And the city is saying, no, you cannot do this. And he's trying and he's trying, and probably he will never recover that hard drive. That for him, trust me, is an event. He just didn't just throw a hard drive in the trash. He threw a destiny in the trash. Notice, it's an event. That is a very sad story. Also, events represent an opportunity for reinvention. For example, the day that my daughter was born, I remember being in the hospital in Yauco, Puerto Rico, and in Ponce, Puerto Rico, and I left my wife with the nurse, and the nurse told me, we are going to prepare her because one day randomly we were expecting that baby, our baby, like 2 weeks. So our baby came 2 weeks before the date. So one day I woke up and I was swimming in water, and I was, oh baby, I think that you broke your source, right? You are going to have, you're going to give birth now. So we went running to the hospital. I give my woman to the nurse, and the nurse told me, you need to go and to sign in your wife as a patient. So I was there in the reception waiting in the line, and my tears, I have all my face full of tears. I was crying. Why I was crying? I was not nervous. I know that everything was gonna be all right. My baby girl, she was with no sickness, with no diseases. My wife is healthy. Everything was good, but I was crying because I knew that will that represented an opportunity of reinvention. I was reinventing myself that day. For that day on, I was not being the same anymore. I was a father. And I was about to look to my daughter in the eyes for the first time of my life and her life. That is an event. Something that happens to you, and you reinvent yourself, therefore. Just think about situations like this in your life. Think about them. Also, events cannot be totally controlled by you, but they can influence, or they can be influenced by your proactivity. So yeah, you cannot control, for example, I could not control when my baby daughter will be born, right? I could not say, hey, get out of your mother's belly today, and she will answer, right? But I could prepare the bag with all the emergency things, and with clothes, and with things that we need for the hospital. So I was proactive because I knew that my baby girl was coming. I didn't know when. I could not control when, but I was proactive enough to have everything ready for the day. So that is also in your life. You cannot control events. You cannot control when God will appear. You cannot control when God will give you the miracle. But you can be proactive in your search for it. You can make the definitive actions that will prompt those situations. You can pray. You can meditate. You can journal about it. You can practice the law of attraction. You can stay fit for the day. For example, you cannot control if you are going to be in a fight or not. You don't know. You don't know if one day you are just walking the street and a guy attacked you and you need to defend yourself. You cannot control that. But what you can control? Well, you can stay fit and you can practice martial arts 3 days per week in order for that day, if that day comes, you are ready. That is being proactive. Also, events deepen your love and appreciation for life. Believe me, people that were in the World Trade Center that survived, they are loving life more now, or they appreciate life more now because they had uh, a death, near death experience. And that's why near death experiences works as a psychotechnologies, spiritual technologies. And I will do a podcast about it in the future. But yeah, and also you can engineer near death experiences. It's something that I have been working on my own life. I don't speak about it because I know that that information can be harmful for a lot of you guys that are not ready and that are immature spiritually, and then you can go and kill yourself, and I don't want that. But when you have maturity spiritually, you can engineer near death experiences in order to expand more and more and more and more your profundity and your deepness and your love for life. But that is something, that is a technique that is very, very profound. And I will just present it when I am mature enough to speak about it. Right now, I don't feel that I'm mature enough. I feel that I'm mature enough to do it myself in silence, but I don't speak about it in my work. Not yet. But it's something that exists. Also, events bring exponential wisdom if you observe, deconstruct, and implement what you learn from them. So, yeah, you can have an event and that's it sometimes, right? But if you really want to transform your life moving forward, you need to observe the event. You need to analyze the event. You need to deconstruct why this happened to me. What is the meaning of this situation for me? And then everything that you learn, you need to implement that wisdom in your further actions, in your future, in order to cement pretty good, pretty solidly the wisdom behind that event. That is the only way you grow. If you don't implement what you learn, you don't grow. If you just listen to this podcast and you don't implement anything in your life, if you don't take any decision, if you don't adopt a new habit, if you don't do nothing with this, well, your memory will erase this information and your life will continue the same. Personal development is about implementation. It's about execution. And if you are not seeing exponential results with your personal development work, it's because you are not implementing a lot. I know a lot of students and a lot of clients that I have in my coaching and consulting and also in psychotherapy, like when I used to do it and now I'm about to begin again in psychotherapy. Like they know a lot about personal development. They know a lot of theories, a lot of ideas, but they fail a lot in the implementation. Like they don't meditate. They know that meditation is mandatory. It's not optional. To meditate is not optional if you are in the personal development, spiritual expansion kind of lifestyle. They know it, but they don't meditate. I'm like, what the hell? You don't even meditate 10 minutes per day, dude? Or they know that God is kind of a good relationship to have, that God can help you in all your matters, but they don't pray. They don't pray. I'm like, why? If you know that pray is very good for you, why you don't do it? Because they fail. They fail in the implementation aspect. So be careful with that. Also, events. Also, you can Be part of the events of others. It is not always about you. Just recognize this, my friend. Sometimes the event happened to you, and sometimes you are the event that happens to others. Like, I am pretty cognizant that sometimes these episodes represent an event for people that watch them. And notice, 100 people can listen to the same podcast, and maybe only for 2 or 3 of them, the podcast will represent an event. For the 97 of the rest, it may be just another podcast, just another personal development content, right? But maybe for you, this is the episode. This is the episode that really changed your destiny, that you made something with it. That is an event. So be careful, because whenever you give advice, whenever you help people, whenever you work with people, whenever you serve people, you may be an event in the life of that person. And that is a lot of responsibility that you need to charge in your shoulders, that you need to carry in your shoulders. So be responsible with it, be committed with it. And the final trait is that life can be perceived as an infinite network of infinitely interrelated events that are happening and not happening simultaneously at the same time. I will repeat this. I know that this is a very complex idea. But if you really understand this one, you will understand a feature of the metaphysics and the fundamentals of reality, that you will be ahead from 99% of people in this world, if you understand what I'm trying to say here. Life, life can be perceived as an infinite, unlimited network of infinitely interrelated, so they are connected in a way, events. And remember, they are enigmatic, mysterious, mystical. They are a before and after, all that I have discussed. They are part of your myth, your destiny. They cannot be controlled, but you can influence them. They deepen your love and appreciation. They bring wisdom. So all that I have discussed. And those events that are infinitely interconnected are happening and not happening at the same time, simultaneously, every time. And that is life. Do you get it? I don't feel that I need to explain this. I feel that if I explain this, I will be adding stuff. And if you cannot grasp the truth in these words, if you cannot grab the spirit, the pattern, the code in these words, adding more words, I don't think it will make it. I think that this is kind of a truth that you need to understand and to meditate deeply by yourself, and you will understand what I'm trying to say. So let me give you some introspective questions that they will help you to connect with the power of events. So I will give you a couple of seconds between the questions, but if you really want to explore them more deeply, you can pause this podcast and ponder them, or you can write them in a notebook, and then you can answer them in a notebook. So it depends. Or you can just think about it, right now, whatever you want. Remember, you will take away the effort that you put in, always in life. This is a principle of personal development. if you put more effort, oh man, this is so dirty. My can is so dirty. I was yesterday in a park with my daughter, and we were drinking water together, and you- this can was in the park with us, and it's full of sand, and yeah, I need to clean it. So yeah, so put a lot of effort, and you will have more. So here's the first question for you, folks. Which has been some events in your life? Can you identify some of them? What circumstances you are living right now that is not a normal situation, but instead it is an event? What can you do today to create better events in your life? What events do you need to create in order to manifest your greatest life and life purpose? And if you want more information about how to connect with your life purpose, go to my life purpose course in derekisrael.com. How can you implement this wisdom of events to your spiritual, meditational practice, or as an essential component of your relationship with God? How can you love more your events? How can you grow with your events? How can you be a part of the events of others, or a better part in the events of others? And finally, how can you be your events? Well, my friend, we reached the conclusion of this podcast. I hope that you manifest better events in your life. I hope that now you become more cognizant and more cognizant and more conscious and more aware of the events of your life. I expect now that you will appreciate better everything that is happening in your life. I hope that you will be able to discern what is a situation versus what is an event in your life. And I hope that you will use this wisdom to further your personal development and, more importantly, to help others to further their personal development, because this work is not about yourself. This work is about expanding and advancing every being in the multiverse. But you start with yourself, and then you will radiate the light that is necessary for illuminating the whole multiverse. So this was Derek Israel. Please share a comment here in the section about what thoughts do you have about this episode. I really like when you comment, and I really read them and I answer them. So leave a comment. Also share this with your friends in social media and with your family. Also, you can donate on Patreon. Only with $5 per month, you can help this podcast to help more people completely free. So help us to help others. Also, remember that we have the Telegram group. It's completely free. The link is in the description, and you can join if you want to be part of this group of personal development junkies that we are growing a lot, uh, and we are enjoying our company. And remember as well that I want to be your guru. If you want the individual service, go to derekisrael.com, and there you can book your own individual service with your favorite spiritual guru, your Dr. Derek Israel. And I see you in the next time.